Hi everyone, welcome to Broadband Deployment News. If you are a larger ISP, today is the day that you need to have your broadband nutrition labels or consumer labels up on your website. If you're a smaller ISP, you've got 6 more months. Be right back with the details. Hey there, Rick Uzi with Broadband Deployment News. Thanks for joining me today. So just wanted to make everyone aware. Actually, I was going to read the story first. So FCC rolls out mandatory nutrition labels for internet providers' plans. This is something that's been in the works for a while, as we'll see here. The next time you go shopping for a home or mobile internet plan, you're going to see a new label lay out exactly what you can expect to pay, the typical download speed you'll get, and information about the internet provider's policies. And that's assuming that you are in the area, service area of someone, an internet service provider that has 100,000 more or subscribers, because today is the deadline for that. And that would be most everyone in the country. However, there are lots and lots of internet service providers that are under $100,000 subscribers. So there's quite a few of those. Of course, the big guys, the Comcast, the AT&Ts, and others have the lion's share of the subscribers, but there are lots of internet service providers, small independent telephone companies and cable companies and fixed wireless providers and whatnot in rural areas, smaller areas that are well under 100,000 customers. So you may not see it if you're in one of their territories, but they need to have their labels in place within 6 months. So October 10th instead of today, April 10th. For those labels. So we'll talk a little bit more about what's on those labels, and I'll take a look at a couple of the larger operators that have them posted here in just a moment. So that information will now be standardized across providers and displayed in a new disclosure modeled after the nutrition labels you see on food packaging and grocery store aisles, and according to the FCC. The new labels, which go live beginning today, Wednesday, and that all major internet service providers will now be required to show, are among the latest steps by the U.S. government to help consumers make sense of the mix of plans, fees, and promotional rates on the market today. And that certainly is a helpful thing if you're a consumer and you're looking to try to compare internet service providers. Hopefully you've got more than one in your area and you have some choices, some options there. And if so, then you can, and again, the big guys all pretty much have competitors in their markets. Not always, but if you're in an area where you've got Comcast, quite often you have AT&T or Verizon or something like that. So you'll have an option to be able to compare the plans and the policies and whatnot, make it a lot easier, as we'll see here. And this is an example of the label. And I've talked about this before, but this is kind of where they settled, and you can see why they call it kind of for shorthand a nutrition label. I guess the official name is Broadband Consumer Label, but it does look like what you'd see on a can of soup, for example. So everything's kind of standardized. You got your monthly price, and you've got whether it's introductory or not. You've got length of contract if that's required. Any additional fees are going to be shown. Discounts and bundle opportunities. The speed's very important here. Kind of your typical download and upload speed and latency. Data included with the monthly price, and they can link off to other information because it's not possible to get everything on this label. It would be more confusing if you try to put everything on here, so you can have links that go to other places. Network management policies, and those are going to be, really should be policies that are to help make sure that everybody's getting a good experience, and it's not so much about, throttling people just for the sake of throttling. What you're trying to do is make sure that your network management policies are basically providing fair use of the resources, so that if you have some small percentage of consumers that are using way more of the resources than everybody else, that they're not causing an issue or a bad experience for everybody. Support phone numbers, those kinds of things. So known as the consumer broadband labels, the FCC mandated disclosures must be offered at the point of sale, both online and in stores, and in many cases in both English and Spanish. They will have to include information about early termination fees, data caps, and network practices such as speed throttling. And they will have to be easily accessible. Providers won't be able to bury the labels in fine print or on separate web pages. And consumers will need to be able to refer to them conveniently anytime they pay their bills or want to compare plans. Well, I looked for AT&T and I couldn't find it. Then I looked for Comcast and I found it, and I realized you have to actually, in their case, you have to tell them where you live. That's one thing, because they've got maybe different rates and different speeds available in different places. So I was able to find them eventually, but it's not like, if you go to their webpage, at least today, I don't think you'll see broadband labels and be able to click on that. Maybe they need to do that, make it easier to find. But if you go to sign up for service, you'll be able to see that. In fact, on the AT&T page, when you go to sign up for service, and we'll see this here in a minute, when you go up to sign up for service, then you'll see the plans and the broadband label right there on the same page. So that made it pretty easy. Still, forcing ISPs to be more clear with consumers could be a small step toward improving competition among internet providers. So this still was related to that stuff there. These mechanisms, which are designed to make it more likely that companies will compete with each other on the grounds of consumer price and quality of products, and less likely to compete with each other on confusing terms by misleading customers, that's important, because you can leave stuff off and it can be misleading. You can say things a certain way. So this is, or hide things. So this is much better for the consumer, surely. The labels have been years in the making. In 2016, an FCC advisory committee first released a version of the disclosures that providers were not required to adopt. Then under the 2021 Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, that's the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, the same law that we get the BEAD program from. Under that law, the FCC moved to implement mandatory broadband disclosure labels and held a lengthy process to design and finalize them. So they put out several notices and accepted comments on those, and then they finalized that. Because the labels must be machine readable, they could help researchers and product review sites gather data on the ISP's plans and marketing. So in other words, somebody should be able to go find those labels and then through programmatically be able to pull the information off of them, so that they can, for example, a site that compares internet services all over the country, you can go there and you can say, okay, who are the internet service providers in the country or in my area? And it will show you that, but the broadband labels will now present you with that same information, so you don't have to go look at 5 different internet service providers or 2 or how many you got in your area. You'll be able to look at that one site as a comparison, and I'm assuming that they would keep that up to date by regularly polling at least maybe once a week or maybe even every day the data from those sites to keep those comparison sites up to date. Because providers will be required to prominently display the labels, FCC officials will be monitoring for evidence or consumer complaints about non-compliance, which could lead to agency investigations or fines. We're going to be keeping a close eye to see if there are any issues with implementation, said an FCC official on the call. So I'm sure in the beginning, the way some ISPs implement these, some consumers may complain that they can't find them, they're hard to find, or maybe they didn't implement something. So I'm sure as the FCC looks into those, they'll contact those ISPs and make sure that they understand that what they're doing is either not correct or they need to make it more visible on their site, those kinds of things. They need to be at point of sale and on the website, wherever a consumer might be purchasing the service. So I linked to this article, just if you want to read that. I also linked to the consumer labels page right here at FCC, so you can check that out. Right now, there's 4 consumers that it will come up when you look at this page, but then you can just click on 4 providers if you're an internet service provider, and you can read about that. There's some examples down here if you are still in the process. Again, a smaller ISP is still in the process of what do these need to look like. You can also check our YouTube channel. I talked about this a couple of times in the past. Maybe I'll link to that later in the description as well. And there's some examples here. So that's the FCC page. And again, I went ahead and I pulled up some. I pulled up Comcast. First, I tried AT&T, and again, I couldn't find it. Then I pulled up Comcast, and I just searched on their site, and I found it. Wasn't that easy to find, but again, one of the things you have to do in a larger provider like this, if they're not in one area, is you're going to have to tell them where you live so they know what plans you have access to, and then also there might be special promotional prices, I suppose, in certain areas. So you see here, I went ahead and selected the fast 500 meg plan, and you can see that we've got fast, then we've got super fast, then we've got super fast, and super fast, I guess. So that's the problem when you start to name things this way. So you've got fast, super fast, and you got gigabit and gigabit extra. So this is Comcast in my area. So they do offer a gigabit service and a gigabit extra service here up to 1200 or 1.2 meg. And and then when you look at this, on the right is where you've got your broadband label. So you can see here, again, this is the 500 meg plan. So they're going to have a different one for each plan. And you can see what we've got here. So the monthly price, $75 a month. Optional modem or gateway lease fee, that's $0. If you want their optional managed Wi-Fi, which they call X-Fi, you pay $10 a month. Then getting started kit, $0. Professional install fee, so they'll come out and install it for $100. Got late payment fees. That's gonna, government taxes are going to vary by location. Then you've got here your typical download speeds and upload speeds. And I don't know if this is per each area or based on the plan and what they might expect. So you got here, so this is a 500 meg plan, and typical download speed would be 583. And you might be wondering, well, how can it be more? Well, I know a lot of our customers, just independent cable companies, for example, the smaller guys, they will actually provision the devices to download faster than the speed they are advertising, because they want the customer to get a good experience, and they want to make sure that they're, if they say 500, and there's something going on, then they're below that. But if they provision them for 600, something like that, then the customer is probably going to get higher than 500. So they like to do that. And speed tests, notoriously, you're doing a speed test, and I'll show a speed test that I did here in a minute. You're not just going to your internet service provider, you are going to your internet service provider and then out their connection to some speed test server, so that can add some delay or reduce the speed that you're getting. You can see here data included in the plan is 12 terabytes. Oh, the upload speed, I missed that, 23.37. So again, this is a DOCSIS cable modem, so this is not symmetrical service. So I can get 583 down and average of 23 up, which is more than enough for most everybody that's on the internet. So you might be thinking, well, that's not a gig symmetrical, or that's only 23 up. Well, 23 up is generally enough for most people. This is a good service in most areas of the country. Charges for additional data usage, $10 every 50 gig. That's if you go over the 1.2 terabytes. 1.2 is pretty good. Unlimited data for customer-owned modems, $30. You can do that. I'm not sure why customer-owned modems, but that's the deal there. So, and then there's this button that I missed the first time I was looking at it. It's hide promotional pricing. So this is promotional pricing. Let's see. It says this monthly price is an introductory rate for 12 months. There is no term contract, so that's nice. I don't know what that means, though. There's no term contract. So you're going to get this price for 12 months. You'd have to read all the fine print, I guess. I would think normally if you're going to get a price for 12 months, you are signing up to commit to say, I'm going to have this product for 12 months. But it says there's no term contract. The post-introductory price for this plan is currently $96 per month. So it goes up from $75 to $96. And is subject to change. So any time during the year that you sign up for this, it could be that it'll be $105 at the time that it switches over, or it could be less. Maybe it'll drop down to $90, who knows. Your plan includes access to Xfinity Wi-Fi public hotspots. This price does not include the auto pay and paperless discount of $10 per month, which is interesting. So they're not including that in this. So it sounds like you could get this as low as $65 per month if you get the auto pay and paperless discount. And then I suppose if you, on this one, instead of 96, it would be 76. What I'm not sure about is can you opt to pay more? I don't know why you would, especially if there's no term commitment. I think that's the kicker. If you really don't have to sign an agreement, there would be no reason you would want to opt for the higher price. Sometimes if you're saying, well, I want to try this out and I really don't want to sign up for a year and then have to stay with it for a year. So maybe you don't. Maybe you just get, this is a price to get somebody in the door, $75 a month. You don't have to sign a long-term contract or a year-long contract, which is great. I'm glad they're doing away with that because that was not the case when I was with Comcast. And you get that price for a year. So it's a way to get somebody in the door, but you're not locking them in. You are going to count on your good service to keep them as a customer during that time. And then at the end of that year, it goes up to 96, and then you can do the usual yearly thing of seeing if you can argue them back down to 75 if they want to keep you as a customer. That's what a lot of people will do. So again, that's what the promotional price. If you click hide the promotional pricing, then you get this. This is again the 500 meg plan. So now you see it is the $96 per month. So this is without the promotional pricing. Again, I don't know why you would do this since there's no commitment. This one says this monthly price is not an introductory rate. There is no term contract. The other one said there's no term contract as well. Price is subject to change. Your plan includes access to Xfinity Wi-Fi, public hotspots. This price does not include the auto-pay paperless and discount of $10 per month. So this one also doesn't include that discount. So you could, again, get this for $76 per month, I suppose, if you sign up for those things. So again, the only thing, I guess, is on this one, when you sign up, it's $96. On the other one, I'm assuming this one is guaranteed at, where are we here? This one, where's my price? Oh, $75. So I'm assuming this one, maybe, since it's a year, maybe they're guaranteeing it that it's going to stay at $75 for a year, whereas the other one is not. This price could go up at any time, so this could go from $96 to $105 at any time. So you sign up. But again, I don't know why anybody would sign up for this one. There's no contract. You would sign up, you'd get the introductory price, and then this would be your price going forward. And then I assume at that point, if you did not negotiate a lower price again, then could change at that point. But it could change at any time because you're going to be on the promotion for a year. So this is not really that relevant as far as I can tell. Now on AT&T, same thing. You have to give them your address. And then you get, what's nice here with this one is you get the speeds right here. This is, I guess, the plans that are available in my area. So, and I actually am a customer, so I actually have this gig plan here. So you can see you get your gig, best value, as they say. You get your 500 meg, then you get your 300 meg, and you see $80, $65, and $55. So you can compare more easily here because you got all three of your plans, and you can look at what they've got. You've got features and benefits. So it kind of describes what you're getting there. And then this, I expanded, and you can see you've got special offers. So it says they'll pay your cancellation fee in full. That's the same on any of these. And then you've got reward cards depending on what plan you sign up for. So if you sign up for the gig plan, you get 150. If you get the 500 meg plan, you get a $100 gift card. And then if you do the 300 meg plan, you get a $50 reward card. So again, this is 300 meg symmetrical. So 300 meg symmetrical, again, is more than enough for most people. So somebody who's, I'm streaming and things like that, so I want to make sure that I have the best internet that I can. And we've got several people in the house streaming at the same time that I might be doing this. So I want to make sure, again, that I've got good internet. But I could see where somebody would, maybe not have as much going on and be able to do just fine on this 300 meg symmetrical plan. But you also can look and you can say, well, let's see, on this plan, I get a, it's right here. Okay, so I get a $50 reward card. So this one I get 150. So the price difference between this and this is $25. So you could say, well, $25, that's several months that I could get this price, and I'm getting $100 basically more in gift card. So you could look at it as, what is that? 4 months, I guess, that I'd be getting kind of at the same price in a sense, because I'm getting $25 times 4 months, that's $100. So it's 4 months that I'm basically paying the same thing as this and getting the gig plan, if you want to look at it that way. Then you've got your broadband labels here. So again, it's very easy to come down, see what the price is. Then you've got your labels, and it's going to have the same information. This price, again, is in the same spot here. You can see what you've got as far as your installation fee doesn't change. None of this stuff is different. Return equipment fee gateway, that's all $150. So none of that is different between these plans. And then what you've got down here is your speeds again. So typical download, they're saying for this service, and this is a gig service, they're saying is 999 megabits per second. My guess is that's not true. And I did a speed test, because if it's a gig service, they're not advertising anything faster than a gig, then I'm assuming this is GPON, which means 1 gigabit per second passive optical network, or PON, or fiber service. So it's saying that I can get a gig typically download, but that's the absolute max that I could really get. Then I've got 928 upload, 8 milliseconds typical latency. The latency on, what was Comcast again? Latency was pretty good here, wasn't too bad. Let's see, we had to hear latency 20, that's the upload speed. Typical latency about 14 seconds. So a little better, obviously going to be on fiber, but that's not too bad for the cable modem service there. So 8 milliseconds, that's going to be the same there, and then have 11 milliseconds here on the slowest plan. And again, you see typical download speed, 664. And that's on the, so this is, what is it again? I keep forgetting. So that's the 500 meg plan and 300 meg plan. So on the 500 meg plan, they're saying you can do up to 664, or that's like your typical download speed. So again, they are over provisioning that to make sure people get a better experience, supposedly. And then here we've got, again, the 300 meg plan. We've got almost 400 meg typical download speeds. And you can see the upload speeds, 622 and 381. So again, symmetrical service and over provision in that case. But here again for GPON, they're not able to over provision, I don't think, because I think it's pretty much 1 gig PON. This is the speed test I got. So 803, roughly a little over 8 gigs, 791, almost 8 gigs. And again, this is going from my location to Sparklight in Atlanta, Georgia, to AT&T internet. So basically there's, again, this middleman. So it's not, it's not like directly the fiber connection from me to AT&T. So it's got to go out to a speed test server somewhere else. And because of that, this is going to be, I think this is going to be lower than you'd normally see if it was a direct, but I still don't think I would get a gig or $9.99 if I were taking this middleman out of there, because again, it's that would be the max I can do. And if that would be, I would think, if there's no congestion at all on the AT&T internet, or not internet, on their on their side, so to speak, because that's got to be taken into account. So again, I didn't link to any of these sites, but I linked to this article. I linked right here to the Broadband consumer labels, so you want to check that out yourself. So this is exciting news for consumers. It'll be easier for you to shop. It's also something as an ISP that you need to be aware of. Certainly, I think if you're over 100,000 subscribers, you're probably already aware of it, and hopefully have them up today, no later than today. If you're a smaller operator, just be aware 6 months you need to be doing the same thing, and then you'll be having this on your website and again on any point of sale that you might have. And that can be kind of common. The point of sale is less common maybe, with a Comcast or an AT&T, but if you are a lot of times independent cable operator, independent telephone company in a small town, people will come into your office, they'll pay their bills, they will come into the office and find out about service, so you need to have the consumer label information right there as well for them. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button, ring the bell to be notified when I'm live. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.